All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about financial health and margin leaks. This is a really exciting one of the most painful leaks to have in your business, and I personally suffered from this one a lot in my career. My very first business I pursued for 4.5 years, I delivered a phenomenal service. We really did good. Our customers loved us, but I had no clue how to price things. I was very new as an entrepreneur, and I was working for almost nothing. Now, today, with what I know, I can see the answer to fix that business would have been to 5x my prices. That's right, 5x, not 1x, not 2x, 5x my prices. That would have fixed the entire business model, and I'll explain why. Now, one of the beliefs out there among entrepreneurs is that more profit means more work, and that doesn't have to be the case. As a matter of fact, a lot of times the entrepreneurs that work the hardest end up making the least amount of profit, and that's a lot of the reason for that is because they're diluted. Now, there's a saying that a chain is only as strong as the weakest link, right? Well, your business is nothing more than a chain comprised of individual business links. So you have a marketing link, a sales link, a ops link, onboarding, HR, reporting, all that stuff. And they all come together to make a chain. Now, just like a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, your business chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And at any given point, you have one weakest link and exactly one weakest link. Now, the tricky thing about the pricing and the financial health leaks is they can actually pop up in a bunch of places, and they can be pretty hard to diagnose. So, for example, I had my portfolio company actually that I talk about from time to time. So 3.5 years ago, it was doing $0 a month in revenue. It was a brand new company, and today it's doing over $500,000 per month in revenue. It's paying me over 6 figures a month in profit. That's over 7 figures a year. Pretty excited about that. I work in it 3 to 5 hours a week, and for a time, we had a pretty big financial leak that I didn't realize we had. This is real, right? It happens to everybody, and it happens in a lot of suspicious ways. Now, we actually thought, interesting enough, that the financial leak was happening in our sales close rates. So we spent about 18 months trying to improve our sales close rates because they're lower than we wanted them to be. So going to our example of the chain. So we have, marketing, sales, we'll say fulfillment, whatever. The rest of them don't matter in this case. And so we're like, okay, our close rate's like 10%. It's really bad. We don't like that. And the result is skinny profits. So if we could just double our close rate, or triple or quadruple would be better, but if we could at least double it, it would change the trajectory of the business. Well, what it turned out is that we couldn't double the close rate. And we tried exceptionally hard, and we did everything under the sun to do it. And what we found out is the acquisition system that we built for our business, just due to the nature of the industry, brought in a lot of unqualified leads. And we tried different ways to qualify the leads so we didn't have to talk to all the time wasters. And everything we did just caused the economics of the business to go down. We spent a lot of time testing this. So I feel very confident in this assessment. And so we just accepted, what if we can never get higher than a 10% close rate? Well, if we can't get higher than a 10% close rate, and we have to talk to 10 people to get one sale, that means we have to charge that one person enough money to make up for all the other people we have to charge, which means we have to create a premium brand in the marketplace so we can justify these higher prices. And so that's what we did. So we 2x'd our prices. So we 2x'd the prices right there. And in some cases, we more than 2x actually, depending on what the offer was and who the client segment was. So we service both B2B, so we service businesses and just consumer clients. And so for our business clients, we realized we provide significantly more value. So we actually increased the price for our business clients even more than 2x. And then for our corporate or our private clients, it was a little bit less just because they'll only pay so much until they just give you the bird and walk away. Now, it's interesting because to date, our close rates are actually lower than 10%. So the close rates, 10% went down to about 9%, which isn't that big of a deal, right? Like 10% difference. But each of these clients, we used to make roughly, so up here, we're making like $1,200 per client. And down here, we're making between $1,800 to $2,200 per client. That's the blended average. So across all client segments, it kind of fluctuates between here. Pretty wild, right? We sacrificed 1% close rate to get significantly more margin. Now, here's the crazy thing. It costs the same amount to fulfill both of these projects. So right here, let's see, I'll use a different color. Right here, our profit was roughly like $200 per project. Yeah, that's kind of bad. Up here, our profit was between $800 to $1,200 per project, right? And there's a little bit of nuance to that. Like we started creating bigger bonus structures for our team and stuff. So it wasn't quite this simple, but it's not far off either. So just by nature of doubling our price, we only lost 10% of our customers, but our profitability anywhere from 4x to 6x. And this changed the business. Why is that? Well, if we are making this much profit, that limits how much I can invest in my business. I can't hire the managers I need. I can't invest in new marketing systems. I basically stuck to the cheapest version of marketing. I can't invest in my brand. We just did not do any social media at all because unless we could justify an investment, we were running such lean margins, we couldn't afford to do that, right? There were months that we were running 4 or 5% margins, doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue. It wasn't great. But what we were able to do is through testing, we figured this out. And then it freed up a bunch of cash flow. We went from 4 to 5% margins in some months to 29% margins pretty regularly. And the profitability skyrocketed. Not only that, but my team felt a lot more secure in their jobs. We could give more promotions, more raises. We hired more people so our team wasn't so stressed. So a lot of these different symptoms, right? Before, we were overworked because I couldn't afford to hire more people. And so you could say, okay, the answer is to hire more people. But if you hired more people, you'd eat up all the cash in the business. And so all these problems that we had actually stem back to having the wrong financial model. We had a financial profit leak. As soon as we fixed that, everything else got better because now we can afford to pay more, acquire customers, which gets us more customers, which gets us more projects, which gives us more profit, which makes me as the owner happy, which makes my team happy because they're making more money. It's just nice, nice cycle. It's quite awesome. So highly want something like that for you and your business. Now, I want to share with you an example from today, actually. We were doing what we call a 2x profit audit, which is an audit where my team goes through and we analyze a service or someone's business. We do this for service-based businesses, so we try to stay away from e-commerce and software. Those are industries that we don't have as much experience in, but we're really good at service businesses. I've been doing it for 14 years, have many of my own that I've ran over that time. And we were talking to the business owner. And the business owner's like, hey, I just hired this new marketing guy. I'm super excited. He's going to make changes to our website. We do this free trial, but it's hard to see on the website. He's going to make changes to that. And we're doing social media. It's going to be so good. And I said, hey, I got some bad news for you. I was like, your business model is broken. You've got some you got some cracks in the foundation of your business building. And you doing those things, you doing more marketing is just going to further drive those cracks down into your foundation and will eventually crumble your entire business. It will break your whole business. You don't know it now because you're going slow. And the analogy that I like to use is if you're riding your bike and you get a flat tire and you're going 5 miles an hour, it doesn't matter. Literally, it doesn't matter. Your bike won't even wobble. If you're driving a race car and you're going 250 miles an hour and your tire pops, you might die. At the very least, you're in a scary position. But your car might flip, you might skid off the track, whatever it is, right? So the more you scale your business, the more marketing juice you put in, the more team members you have, the faster you're trying to grow, the more these little subtle cracks in the foundation will just fracture everywhere and they'll break your business. And so this client is doing a $99 per month fitness offer, right? So there's tons of fitness offers and they all freaking charge $99 a month. So why not start another one, right? And this client, her goal was in the next 18 months, because that's what the marketing guy said was possible, to have 100 clients paying $99 a month, which is roughly $10,000. Now, I understand everyone's financial situation is different. That's not a lot of money. Not only is that not a lot of money, by the time you pay for, good Lord, one employee and all that disappears basically. By the time you pay for your marketing, your systems, your website, your taxes, your insurance, all this is going to evaporate. And so I told the business owner, I said, hey, I'm excited you got the marketing person to help you. I know that feels good to not be doing everything yourself and to finally have some support. But the problem is that person is taking you down a bad business system. You have a huge profit leak in your business. And if you just do the math, it's going to take you 18 months supposedly to get 100 customers that are paying you $100 a month. This business will never work because you'll fizzle out before the 18 months even gets here. That's a hard reality. So I told her, you instead need to be looking at, $500 per month minimum plus an onboarding fee of some sort. And so we talked about what that could look like. And she's like, well, people won't pay $500 for what I have. It's like, they might not right now. So you have to figure out a way to sweeten the stakes. You have to strengthen your offer so you can fix this profit leak. And so we're going to propose to her, like I said, this is real time, just happened today. But what we're going to propose to her is adding additional components. So instead of just fitness coaching, which is what everyone and their dog does, it's fitness coaching for a very specific demographic. And then that demographic is going to need things like blood tests. They're going to need quarterly check-ins. They're going to need dieting advice. And so you start compiling all these services in, and they can be very high leverage because this client can spend a lot of time putting together some sort of nutrition consulting program, or she can just team up with a nutritionist that does this professionally, like, hey, will you give my people 2 free sessions? And if they want to keep working with you, they can, but at the very least, you're giving them value, and I'm acquiring leads for you, blah, blah, blah. Then she can go to, a doctor, hey, this is what I got going on. I got this program. People are pretty well to do. Can you do a free consult for these people? And then she can start bundling all these different services together, right? This makes her offering a lot more valuable, which makes it so people will pay her more, which gives her a lot more leverage in her business. So instead of, over the next 18 months making $10,000 a month, maybe she's making $50,000 a month. And maybe this extra cash will allow her to grow faster. And so she can invest more in marketing, and maybe she'll get the 100 clients in the next 3 to 5 months, which is very possible. It happens all the time. So if you have a financial leak in your business and it feels like you're working way too hard for way too little left over, and there's all these problems that are stemming up that you're not sure how to fix or where to diagnose. A lot of times these problems are we can't get enough leads. We have to buy the cheapest leads on the market. Our leads are no good. Like, these are all problems that are symptoms of having a financial leak in your business. This is a good place to analyze. Now, one of the double-edged swords about an assessment like the profit leak detector assessment is we try to make it so it's applicable to every business. And in the process of making it applicable to every business, it gives kind of generic advice. And so we created these supplemental videos to hopefully help you to narrow in more on your profit leak. But if you want to get my and my team's help looking into your business specifically and creating a plan, going through your business, just like we did for this fitness entrepreneur today, just like we did for this client right here, this is Med Spa. We figured out how they were leaving $700,000 a year in profit on the table, and they could unlock that profit with 2 changes, no joke, 2 changes, and it only take about 2 weeks to implement. So just imagine that. This business owner at the time was doing like $600,000 a year in profit, so we can more than double their profit with 2 weeks of work. Pretty bizarre. But if you want our team to look at your business and analyze those types of moves that you can make to significantly improve your profit, I want to invite you to take advantage of something we call the 2X Profit Audit. There's a link below. You can click on it, and it'll take you to an application page. You can fill out the questions there, and my team will review it. Now, when you apply for a 2X Profit Audit, we take a deep dive analysis throughout your entire business, through every component of your business chain. And we're looking for those weak links, and we're looking for the common themes that we see time and time again throughout all of these service businesses we work with, and we're trying to look for the most efficient, most affordable, and fastest way to fix those leaks so you can get the results faster. And so if that sounds like something that you'd like in your business, I want to invite you to click the link now. Go ahead and apply. We only do 5 of these profit audits per week because it does take a lot of time for our team. We're spending between 5 to 8 hours for free to help the business owners out. There's a few reasons we do this. One, we want to give back to entrepreneurs. I don't need money. I don't do this for money. I do it because it's a lot of fun, and I love the people that we meet, and I love making a difference in the world. The next thing, we do it to get more content because our brand on social media is still pretty weak, still pretty new, and so we're trying to take these profit audits and use them to get more content. So we benefit as well, which incentivizes us to want to really do a good job. So people are like, dang, I want one of those too. And then the last thing is, a lot of times business owners, they'll get their profit audit, and we give you the map. It's free. You can go and execute it yourself. Congratulations on the profit if you want to do that. But a lot of times people will say, hey, I don't have the time or the skills or the know-how, or I just want to have experts on my team to help me do this so I don't have to carry the burden alone. Then they'll hire my team to actually go into their business and implement these changes. So once again, 2X Profit Audit, if that sounds like something you like, click the link below and go ahead and apply.